save some money.
Welcome back to the channel. Today we're getting to go and see our friends, Homesteading Pastor. Of course, if you've been on the channel, you've heard us mention their channel. We'll put the link in the description. You should subscribe to them. They're really great people. We got to stop at this gas station because Katie and Dad got a, what are you going in there for?
I need to see if they've got a certain size of fish hooks, and if I can't get them here, then I'll just either have to give up on my venture or find somewhere who has my size of fish hooks that I want.
Unique name, Wagabag.
This is the Wagabag.
Yeah, this gas station has an odd name.
Why
Wagabag.
is it called that?
I'm just gonna give you money, Kate. Cool stuff, shiny stuff by it.
Okay.
While Katie goes in the gas station, this episode is going to be about starting back to school. Today is actually the first day of school in Cherokee County, the day we're filming this on August 29th. And we're going to talk about school. Were you excited when school started back?
I didn't love school obsessively, but I did like it. And the beginning of a new school year just held so much possibility. Of course, there was you were excited, you get to have a new teacher. Usually got some new school clothes. I loved all the brand new notebooks and pencils and all that. I liked all that kind of stuff.
You're so cute.
So yeah, I was usually excited for school to start. That's not to say that a couple of months later I was wishing it was all over and it was summer again, but I loved the excitement of that first day of school.
Dad, were you excited when school started back?
No, I didn't like school.
No.
No. Only thing good about school was it was fall and it was getting close to deer season.
That makes
And squirrel
sense.
hunting and all that, but I didn't like school. Still don't like school.
Your daddy tried to run away from school all the time.
I did run away from school multiple times when I was way down in grade school.
Where'd you run away to?
I went home. I mean, where we lived was a mile or 2 miles from the old schoolhouse. It was an old brick building schoolhouse where my dad went to school. And I knew how to get home, and when I had enough school, I made sure nobody was looking, and I went out the door and went home. Scared everybody, and they was looking for me. But I knew they'd be looking for me, and I hid and made sure they didn't find me. And when it got dark, I wouldn't go in the house till it got dark. I just hid in the woods till while everybody was riding the roads looking for me, I could see them.
Oh, gosh.
The principal and teachers, my aunt and uncle, or my aunt. And I just stayed out of sight where they couldn't see me, and as long as I wasn't in school, I was glad.
Did you find what you needed?
I am shocked and surprised, but I did. All right, Daddy, I also got a beef stick.
All right, Daddy, I'll just hold your money, but I'll give it back to you. Did you find what you needed in there?
So, yeah, I needed, these are hooks with a straight eye. They're not bent like snail hooks, I guess. I got a size 8 and I got a size 6. These are going to go on the spinners that I made that I needed different hooks for last night. I have one I done put a treble hook on, but I needed these hooks. So I brought my pliers with me, and I'll be able to fix these when we stop. I'd do it going down the road, but I'm afraid I'd probably hook myself. So I need them for these. This is a spinner that I made last night, and I need a hook to go here, and then I need a hook to go on this one. And I'm probably just going to hook it straight up to this bottom part, but I just had these split rings on there just because, in case I needed them. So I found what I needed in there, and I also bought Dad a little MEP spinner, like a little petite one that'd be good for trout because it's smaller, and I think he'll like it. I like, as far as the spinners go, I really like the MEPs because, I mean, I like the rooster tails, the ones with the cool flies on the end, but at the same time, I don't know, sometimes they annoy me because they just get wet and stick together. Size, I don't know how they size these things. I think this is a 0. It's pretty cute. I have a bigger version of this. So, everybody should be happy. Yeah, woohoo, found what I wanted. And I got a beef stick for when I get hungry later and need some protein.
Were you excited when school started back?
No. I always cried. I literally would cry the first day of school every morning. I'd pitch some kind of ungodly fit about not wanting to go back. I hated school. I hated every second and every day of it. So no, me personally, I was not excited to go back. I'm just excited it's over. And you know something? I never, ever, ever use half of what I learned.
I just didn't need to know it. It's like, I saw a meme out there one time, which this wasn't that bad at all. This was actually kind of fun, but they all made us do flute or recorder. And so one time I saw a meme, it was like, I'm so glad that you guys spent time teaching me how to play a flute and a recorder in school, because these days when I run into a hard situation, I just jerk out my flute, bang out a good song, and it solves everything. Which is so funny, because I was always like, instead of doing that and learning some of the stuff that we did learn, I wish they'd have taught us, like, which I know how to cook. I grew up with a family who cooks, but like home ec stuff, how to balance a checkbook. I bet poor Dallas that we went to school with would have liked to known how to put a grease fire out, threw water on it, and got 3rd-degree burns. They should have been teaching us that stuff. Anyway, no, I didn't like going to school because I don't like to be told what to do, and that's all school is.
You can play a song with them. I still
Remember,
have
Mama,
them.
we pulled one out of the closet the other day, and I started playing it, and that's when I thought about the meme. I'm
Yeah.
gonna look up I'm gonna find the real meme, because it's a lot funnier than what I just said. It's
I think that would be a great
hilarious.
video. Katie, play your recorder somewhere. Who knows where? It's probably on a VHS tape. I have one of Ben playing Amazing Grace on the recorder, because he had to do that too. Corey and Katie's cousin Ben.
I remember that. I don't know that I really hated the start of school really badly, but I don't think that I really loved it either. I might have been excited like on the very first day to get to wear some new clothes or something like that if I had any, or have my little pencil case or little cute erasers or something like that, but I was pretty much like Katie and Dad. I hated school. I never really enjoyed school at all, even from day one all the way from grade school to college. I just did not like school. Part of it was kind of like Katie said, I didn't like being told what to do. But I just didn't really like school, and I never ran completely away from school, but there was one time I guess I was in middle school, probably in the 6th or 7th grade, and I remember getting I don't remember what I was mad about. I have no idea what I was mad about, but I remember being so mad, and I walked out the front of the school onto the sidewalk into the parking lot and was like, I know how to go home, I'm just gonna walk home. And I got about that far and I thought, oh my gosh, if I do that, Mom will whip me so hard that I'll never be able to sit down again. So I went back in, and now you couldn't even do that because they have the front doors locked. That was back when they were open all the time and anyone could come and go. But I'm so glad I was taught how to play a recorder at school. It has come in really handy in adult life. Lost count of the times I've resolved a difficult situation with a quick blast of 3 blind mice. Gosh, that's funny.
Really?
Oh, that's right.
Run to the bathroom.
That's right. I forgot all about that. I did run away.
2nd grade, I think.
3rd grade.
3rd grade.
I did run away at school one time. I forgot about that, but I just ran to the bathroom and I would not come out. I locked myself in the stall and I would not come out, and they sent one of the meanest, but like the best. She wasn't really mean at all. She was
great, yeah. She was just stern.
America needs more of her.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
she was very stern, and they sent her down there, and I would not come out of the stall because I remember exactly what the argument was about. We were like doing social studies. Don't laugh at me. We were doing, for how I say that. We were doing social studies, and you had to fill in the blank, and I did not understand what to do, so I just put a random word in there, and the teacher thought that I was just goofing off and trying to be like blatantly disrespectful. It's like, no, I really don't understand. And they were going to send me to the principal's office, and right before they did, I was like, I have to go to the bathroom, and they were like, well, you better make it fast. And so I went to the bathroom, and like I guess 20 minutes later, when I never came back, they were like, where's Corey at? And I had locked myself in there because I was afraid that I would get paddled. And they took a lot of coaxing to get me out, but I never got paddled because the principal wasn't even there. So I needed the paddle, but I got lucky I didn't get it. Well, one of the other times that happened, Corey got in trouble. See, back then it was the opposite. Corey was more scary and like more in trouble, and all you had to do was threaten me with a whipping, and I would comply with whatever it was. And Corey had been doing something that she wasn't supposed to do and got in trouble. And so the principal back then, what they would have you do is all the kids who've been misbehaving at a certain time, they'd send them out in the hall, and the principal would walk up and down the hall with his paddle and intimidate you. He did have a paddle. He had it in his hand, I swear. I remember it. It's etched in my nightmares. And so he walked up and down the hall and talked to all the kids who were bad. You know, all of it was just a big show to be like, and it worked. I mean, we were terrified. Well, I never ever got sent out to the hall. And any of the kids who had to go sit in the hall, just now it's like laughable, but they would cry. And so they tried to send me out. And me and Corey were together for some reason. And I was like, no, I wasn't the one misbehaving, but they sent me out instead of Corey. And I remember to this day, Randy came over and he's like, if you don't straighten it up, I'm gonna have to powder you. And I kept trying to say, but mister, and he was like, I don't want to hear it. Don't talk, don't backsass me. So I came home crying and I told Mom, I was like, I really didn't do it, Corey did. And she had to call the school and tell them that they had the wrong twin, and they thought it was hilarious. And then later Mom said, you should just whipped them both. They both deserved it. A good whipping would do them.
I told Randy that story years later, and he just smiled. He just laughed. He was the best. He was a great principal.
Oh, I loved that man.
He was the best principal.
He was the best principal ever. That guy was awesome.
When we think about, or when I think about the school starting like today, none of us, of course, are starting school, and we don't have anybody in our family that's starting today, so it's not like we've been preparing with the school list that you got to go buy all this stuff, or going to open house or anything like that. But still, somehow, the first day of school makes me think summer's over. It's the end of summer. It's kind of like the closure of the summer, even though it's still really warm. It's been hot. And, our garden's still growing. Everything's still green. It just somehow feels like the end of summer. Do y'all agree?
Yeah, I definitely do. Probably just feels like that because I'm ready for it to be over. So I'm just
it's kind of like the end of I guess because the end of summer vacation was instilled in you so much when you were young, but it still feels like that to me. It's kind of like a shift. And then after that, you begin to see, which even on our trip so far, I've seen the silage fields are turning brown, and you can barely see a little bit of color on some of the trees, and things are taking on that. At the end of summer, it's my least favorite time of the year because everything takes on kind of a rusty, dead look around the edges before those beautiful colors of fall actually come out. So you can kind of begin to see that.
So have you noticed some signs or changes of fall coming, Dad?
I have noticed the trees in our yard are loaded with acorns, so I like that. I don't know, on up on the mountain, I don't know how much acorns there are, but right down there close, down low, there's plenty of them, so that makes me excited.
Happy times in the acorns.
Yeah.
Good. What is it? Mom and Corey been making kefir water, and I said that Mom said she wanted to do limes, but what would you do with it? I said cucumbers. Cucumber lime was my idea, and this stuff it's really, really good. It's got if you leave the lid on it like that, and then it gets really, really, the smell is really strong, but it's fizzy. It's got kind of a punch to it. It's good. Dad was mentioning the acorns, and just a couple weeks ago, or a couple days ago, really, I was telling Mom, when I see the acorns in the driveway, because we got some trees that hang out over their driveway, when I see the acorns in the driveway, I'm immediately like, yeah, summer's over. Like, right now, today, it's completely over. And like she said, it's still hot out, but as soon as the school starts, or I start seeing the acorns, and then you start seeing just a tiny bit of color or deadness at the leaves on the trees, I'm like, okay, summer's over. Which is sad, but also nice when it's time to move into fall. I think by the end of each season, I'm ready to move on. And I think I probably always will associate the end of summer with kids going back to school. Because when we were kids, total devastation. When the month of August would come around, I swear I would get just so upset and crying and sad because I knew that summer was over. And I had to go back to school, and my freedom was over. And so I do always think about the fall of the year coming means fresh start for the kiddos, which maybe the kids who liked school, that was a lot of fun for them. I just so happened to hate it. This is one of the prettiest views around here. Getting to see the mountains. I'll tell you what my favorite view is when we could go on up a little bit and you kind of turn over to the right. Those mountains are my favorite. Yeah? They look bigger and steeper somehow. They're pretty. And then this fall, they'll be naked. There'll be no more leaves. Pretty mountains. You have to comment below and let us know if you feel that way too. If it seems like the start of school in your area is kind of the close to summer. Or if you liked school. Or if you liked school. I want to know who liked it and who didn't. Yeah, we want to know who liked school. But thank you for watching as always. We appreciate it. We're going to have a good time. Maybe get to fish some today with our friends. And the most important thing is God gives you beef sticks, you should eat them. It's rude not to.
Yeah.
See you at the next video.
Bye.